We're here tonight to give the families and friends and allies of people who have lost loved ones an opportunity to hear their voice. So we're having an open mic night. We don't get to hear their voices, and the statutory services and the government quangos will have a very steered version of their voice. So tonight we have just asked the people to come along and remember their loved ones and tell us a wee bit about what that loss has done in their families and in their communities and everyone's lives.
Sick and tired of seeing clients in the criminal justice system where I operate, struggling on a daily basis with childhood trauma, trying to soothe the effects of that trauma with the misuse of drugs. And personally, I've attended a number of funerals already this year, clients who have sadly passed as a consequence of drug overdose. The system's broken, it needs to change, it needs to be ripped up and started again from my perspective. We need to focus on rehabilitation and not strictly punishment. We need to ascertain why people misuse drugs.
3 years ago today, we stood here and we asked for 50% representation on the Drug Death Task Force for lived experience people. We didn't get it, but here we are. Since that time, another 12% rise in deaths. So I don't know if Scotland is addicted to insanity, but it certainly looks that way. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Our politicians keep listening to the same quangos and the same people who led us into this crisis and who continue to double down, triple down, and try to spin their way out of this crisis. We're here today to hear your voice, to listen to you, to hear about the loved ones that you've lost, and to take your voices and amplify them.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
This is not about Cisco or Favour tonight. This is about you guys. This is about the communities. This is about the family members. This is about recognising that name that's narrowed down into a statistic. I feel sick every year when I read 1,330 people died of drug-related death, because what we don't see in the newspaper are the names of the 1,330 people.
Something has to be done. We have to stop mothers losing sons, losing daughters, losing sisters, brothers. We have to stand strong and help each other do something and make sure that the government and they listen to what we've got to say.
Health services have been cut everywhere. If Evan wanted to access a psychiatrist to discuss the thoughts in his head, he'd be waiting and he'd be waiting. By that time, he could have tried to kill himself. Evan tried to kill himself twice in our house, and my mother was the only one there to help him survive.
Their way of saying we're funding recovery is methadone. It's Suboxone, and I get it. Harm reduction is massively important, but put more money into rehabs, put more money into therapy, put more money into peer support, one-to-one.
I want everybody to remember these names. Stevie Logan, Jamie Logan, Danny McSweeney, David Scott, Mary McSweeney. Remember those names.
Hi, I'm Liz, and this is my brother Tony. Tony died last year, alone in his house with an overdose of straight artisanal. He was on methadone for 40 years. It's an absolute disgrace that that can happen in this day and age.
It is a lot to do with the people we've lost, but at the same time we need to remember the people that are here now, because we're all in this together. End stigma. We're no junkies, we're no alkies, we're just all in it together, and we're alright.
It's always struck me that when I listen to personal testimony for people who are in recovery, who have started the recovery journey or who have started their treatment journey, that we place great expectations on them for taking ownership, for taking responsibility and showing commitment to change. So the only thing I want to say to you tonight in your grief is that people in positions of power who can make decisions or who can influence decisions, that we also have a responsibility to show ownership, because the people that we have lost, they're our people, these are our citizens.
Guys, as you see behind us, some of the buildings in Glasgow, Scotland, are going to be lit up purple, and that is in honour and respect of overdose awareness. We're here for the ones that are no longer here, we're here for the silent, so let's always let our voices hold power.
I live in hope that they will listen, but not only listen, that they will act, and that they will stop kicking this issue into the long grass and radically change our treatment system and stop listening to the status quo organisations, the quangos, and the dishonesty that they have been buying into for the last decade. If they will start listening to people who know how to recover and pull in their expertise and their guidance and their leadership and really harness that leadership, I think we'll make the changes that are necessary.